good. It's all good. Living, loving, loving, living, it's all good. I'm loving, living, it's all good. Living, loving, living, it's all good. I'm loving, living, it's all good.
2, 1. Hey, welcome to It's All Good. I'm Lukas, or Adam, from Wichita, Kansas. Joining me is my best friend and life coach, Dr. Eric Lane in Tucson, Arizona. You look much brighter in Arizona than I do here in Wichita.
It's nice. We're 84 today. Beautiful, but I haven't talked to you in a long time. You just call me when it's time to record.
Well, it's been a month since we've done it. It's All Good episode, because I know you actually went somewhere to videotape something and took a lot of your time.
Took a lot. And I have something that I wanted to bring today. I'm going to play some audio. I want you to respond to it.
Okay.
So let's just hear what it says here.
Rap about being a terrible team and dirty and cheating and all that stuff. This year, my prediction is that my Raiders will be in the Super Bowl this year. And I'm glad that we're taping this in August or into July, because that's just telling you that this is going to come true, and we can go back to this tape. So we're going to have a bet.
Okay, so I'm not going to play my part. My Vikings are doing pretty well, so I could, but I just wanted to bring that to your attention.
Wow. Think about how I thought about in August, how positive I was about my Raiders. And then they got hurt, and then they played terrible. And by the way, it's not done yet. I know they're not the greatest team right now, but there's still half the season left, Eric.
What is their record? I haven't followed much.
I think we are one game behind Kansas City.
That's not bad.
So yeah, I think we're almost 500. After we started losing, I started getting mad and I started not paying attention, which is like me, because I'm a poor sport when my team starts losing, as you know. But the Vikings are doing very well. Congratulations.
So far, we were doing good last year, though, until this time. And then we went on about a 6-game losing streak.
Yeah, so football's a weird thing. So we'll see how it goes. But, man, could you hear the enthusiasm in August? Here it is, November. In August, I was a different being with the Raiders, wasn't I?
You were so excited. And then there was one other thing, as I know a lot of people are watching this.
Yeah.
Did you just come from the old school, new school with that brimmed hat that is so rounded right now, like your eyebrows? Is that
you don't like my Under Armour hat that I got? It fits my head perfect.
Does anybody ever comment about the brim?
No, I usually wear my hat backwards. But since I just woke up and to film this, that I put this hat on to cover my tired eyes. So you probably can, if I should do the whole thing like this.
Does Zach have his hats more square like this, or?
Yeah. So why? So I love this. I played baseball, Little League baseball, and I used to always do this. I used to always get my hats like this. So you've switched over though. You've gone to the new school. You're wearing the flat.
Evolve. You look like Smalls. Remember Smalls in The Sandlot? That's how Smalls wore his hat. And everybody else in that movie.
There's nothing wrong with it. And by the way, I see a tag coming out of there. You wearing a tag? Is that what you do? You wear a tag in the flat bills? That's a cool thing?
I have a tag here, and then I got the sticker underneath my brim.
Yeah, why would you do that? So I don't understand why that happened.
I'm just evolving with the Generation X.
Did you get yelled at by your kids? I thought, right?
Yeah, I have a bunch of those hats you've got on all over, but they won't let me wear them anymore. So
let me just do something real quick.
There you go.
Okay. How's
much better?
Put my headphones back on. I don't want to distract you from this video of It's All Good.
Now you're good.
All right, so it's been a minute. I'm wearing a Shocker yellow shirt today because I'm getting ready to go to the Shocker game. I'm a big fan of the Wichita State Shockers. They're ranked really high this year. Good team. And so that makes me happy.
Are the Shockers playing like the School of the Deaf and the Blind to start out the season? I know that's probably on their schedule.
It's the worst schedule I've ever seen. They play a JV team from somewhere, and they pounce on them. It's funny.
And they're good.
The season's going to start here pretty soon, and we'll see. We're in a brand new conference. We got to play Cincinnati and Connecticut. We're in the bigger conference now, so we'll see how we do. But people are predicting it to be pretty good. Okay, so let's talk about when it comes to things that feel good. That's why people watch this podcast and listen to it. Is that we kind of talk about things that will give positive feedback from people and we'll help people look at things a little bit different. We'll give you a challenge here coming up at the end of this. But I wanted to start with a couple of challenges. Sorry, not challenges. I want to come up with a couple of great stories that I heard this week that I want to share with you. But before we do that, real quick. So I told you I was going to the Shocker game tonight, right? So usually I have season tickets. I take either my wife or my son to the Shocker game with me. Well, my wife went to Kansas City to see a friend that she hadn't seen in 10 years, and they're spending the weekend together. And Zach actually has to work. And I was like, Zach, get out of work and come to the game with me. And he was like, I can't. No one's going to cover for me. I said, okay. So I remember there's a friend of mine that I played basketball with that is 6'11", 310 pounds. He is a mammoth of a man. And he lives in Wichita. He's always lived here. And he says to me, hey, I always see you post pictures on Facebook of you at these games. He goes, next time you have an open ticket, invite me because I've never been to a Shocker game. So this morning I was in this dilemma. I was like, well, Nicole can't go. She's not going to be here. Zach's got to work. Who do I take? And I remember my friend Kyle. So I sent him a Facebook thing and I said, hey, this is your lucky day. Tonight is going to be your first Shocker game. I got a ticket with your name on it. And he goes, well, let me check with my wife to see if I can go. And he checked and he sent everything back. And he was like, okay, I'm going. So I had to get on the air and say, tonight, if you're at the Shocker game and you're sitting in section 110, anything below row 9, behind row 9, you will not be able to see this game because you've never been to a Shocker game, but when you go to a Shocker game, people stand up all the time. It gets really hype in there. And so when he stands up, and he's 6'11", he's bigger than most of the players that are on the court, he's going to block everybody's view. So what kind of advice do you have for that, Eric?
Well, I remember when I went to a game with you in Sacramento, when you invited me out and the Lakers were playing and we had the rivalry and you caused all kinds of trouble. There was a fight in front of us. So Kyle better be prepared if he, although you're both for the same team, that'll help. But you were antagonizing the other Laker fans around us, and then all pandemonium broke out. I just remember that.
You were an instigator with your stupid Laker fans. Are the worst fans of the world. I hate all of you. Okay, so let's talk about a couple of stories that happened over the week. One was people that notice coworkers. How often do we go to work and we don't really think about what our coworkers are going through? And how well do we actually pay attention to their needs and things that maybe be going on? So there's a coworker who would show up at work, and somebody found out that this coworker commuted, had a 3-hour commute to work and a 3-hour commute back home. It's almost like 6 hours just to get to work to have this job. It's a Tennessee woman, and basically she had to take a bus, walk to a bus stop. Then she took the bus from the bus stop all the way to someplace in the city. Then she had to walk an hour and 10 minutes from the bus stop to her job just to get to work. And people at her office finally found out why this woman, what was going on. And somebody actually paid attention, investigated, and told everybody in the office, it's like, we got to do something for this woman. They ended up pitching in, everybody threw money in, and everybody in the office bought this woman her own car and then filled it up with gas and paid for the first year of registration for her so she can get to work. And when I heard that story, I thought, do I pay attention when I go to work and I work with workers that there's people in need that will never say anything? And she did this for years before somebody found out. How do we, if we do find out something like that, or how do we go about finding out things about our coworkers to be able to help them? Is there a trick to it, or is there just something that we need to do?
The thing that strikes me when you say that story, I remember a nurse's story and something similar, that she was in a class and her final exam came around and 50% of the test passing or failing was on the last question. And the last question was, what is the name of the lady that cleans this building? And nobody knew the name because nobody ever took time to notice and talk to her. So it's just, a lot of times it's just looking around and noticing other people. That's sometimes seems real easy, but when we notice other people, when we try to find out what is important to them, whether we agree or disagree, the hardest part now for people is if we're really politically divided, so we can't even value somebody that we thinks different than us. as even a person. We can't value the things that are important to them and validate them. We don't have to agree, but we're just showing that, hey, I care about you. And when we notice things, I mean, it could be some guy's particular mustache. It's obviously important, or a tattoo. A lot of times tattoos for years were, oh, no, you're in a gang or you're this. But, a lot of times there's deep meaning to those. So it's just taking time to notice other people and trying to find out what's important to them. And many times it's names. How many times do we work in a place where we don't even know everybody's name? And then we're almost embarrassed because we've been there for 2, 3, 4 months, and it's like, this is awkward. And we're like Jerry Seinfeld. We want to introduce somebody to them so they'll tell us their name.
Yeah.
But sometimes I think if you go over and say, hey, we've been working here a long time, I can't remember your name. And that allows the opportunity for them to share the name and then just tell me a little bit about your life and focus all of the questions and really the deep intention on them and have no alternative motive that would include something for you.
No, I agree. I think that's fantastic. So one of the things this week is to when you go to work this week, look around, keep your eyes peeled and your ears open to be able to figure out things like that you can help other people that may be struggling that you don't know about.
And if you can just make people smile. So if every day your goal is, I'm going to make somebody happy, and it can be just as it's Circle K, you're checking something out and just say something nice, or you'll have multiple opportunities all day. And when that happens, our days become a lot better, and it is so much more beneficial for us when we try to help other people get what they want in life.
Yeah, no, that's the absolute truth. I've tested it, and it absolutely works. It helps you. I mean, you feel like you're doing something good for somebody else is smiling, but when you actually look at the rest of your day, it puts you in a different mood the rest of the day, and then you keep doing those things. And you're right, it's contagious, and it's fantastic.
And if you listen when you go around, you don't hear it much. There's times I'll be in line and I'm just waiting to say something funny or nice or even a conversation like you're a person, even though you're a cashier and somebody must think you're not important enough to talk to. I listen and I'm amazed at how many people never engage with the person. And a lot of people just by acknowledging their name tag, hey, Pam, hey, Cynthia, you're doing a great job. Right. How are you doing all of this? They lighten up and they smile. They look grumpy from behind, your 4 or 5 people in line, but instantly because you just call them by name, you took time to take a half a second and see what their name was.
Yeah. So you're watching It's All Good. This is a podcast that we came up with because we feel like there's so much negativity in our world. There's so many crazy things. You turn on the news and it's awful. Everything that you see is just one bad thing after another. So we figure when we do this podcast and you listen to it, you'll be able to hear some positive things that will help you in life, and you'll be able to, like Eric said, smile. Here's the other story that I have is think about being not being selfish. Is that there was a girl who was in the band, freshman, sophomore, junior, and it was going to be her senior year. She's huge in the marching band. She decided that she found out that there's one of the freshmen that were coming in that was blind. And this girl that was coming in that was a freshman that was blind wanted her goal in life since she was a little kid was to be in the high school marching band. But because she was blind, she didn't figure that she would ever be able to accomplish that goal. But she had set that goal. Well, I guess this girl who's been in the band, this will be her 4th year, senior year. And I start thinking about if I played basketball and you think about it. You're a freshman, you work yourself up to JV, and you get to, junior, soft. Then you get to become a senior. You're going to play, it's just, I started feeling about, would I have done what this woman or this young lady did? She gave up her instrument for the marching band her senior year so she could walk next to the girl, the blind girl, the freshman coming in, so she could participate in fulfilling her dream in being in the marching band. And that story hit me like a ton of bricks. There's so many great people in our world. Kids, mostly are kids that are so selfless, and they do things all the time for people. And to give up your think about giving up your senior year of football or basketball so a freshman could do something. I mean, it's huge to me. It's such a huge example to me.
Oh, that's a great story, and people always get rewarded. We were sitting in Disneyland a few weeks ago for a parade, and if you've ever gone to Disneyland for a parade, people line up an hour before to get the benches. And I was sitting across from a younger late teenager boy and girl, and they were sitting in one of the chairs. So it was a very good seat where the parade would come in, and they were there an hour before. And as it continued to fill up over and over again, this place was packed. About 2 minutes before the parade started, they noticed an older couple that was looking for a seat, and they both said, "Hey, why don't you two come and sit here and we'll sit on the curb?" And what was interesting about it, I mean, it was obviously a great act of charity and of just noticing, but I noticed within about 10 minutes, a Disney employee came up and gave them 2 free tickets to whenever they wanted to come back. So Disney was great about noticing people noticing others. And in life, it always happens. We get blessed far more than we think that. And that girl didn't think she was sacrificing any. Her joy was so much more than any of the other band members that she was blessed far more. But it's hard to do. I mean, it's especially at that age. So what a great thing she did.
So I wanted to have you give us some kind of a challenge this week. I know that you always come up with challenges, and you've read over 10,000 books in your life, and you always pass along these great books to me here and there. What have you been thinking about lately that we could have people be more positive in our lives?
We had James Anderson. We did that interview a couple months ago, and this is a great challenge to do, especially for somebody like me and probably you, because we go to sporting events and we'll even sit on our couch and we will applaud when the guy we never know and doesn't care about us and nothing in our life changes because he made a 3-pointer, and we will come off the couch and we'll scream and we'll clap, and we do it at games. And James said, when our kids get off the bus every day, and I think they were like 6 and 12, he says, I'm over there clapping, yeah, great day. And people are looking at him. He goes, why are we not celebrating the people we love the most for the things that are far more important than we're acting like maniacs in the crowd because somebody scored 7 points or 2 points or 3 points? So this week, you don't have to be crazy like that, but look for opportunities to celebrate those people you love the most in things that are far more important than a basketball game or a football game. It's a challenge, and your kids will think you're crazy, but it's a good way to do it. Was that Patty? Did Patty come in the room?
No, I'm going to turn it over. This is my dog, Reese. Hold on. She just came in.
Is Reese there?
Where's Reese?
Look at Reese.
Oh, there she is.
Your bottle.
So she comes over and she grabs this and she starts chewing it. All I hear in the background is clank, 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 clank. Hey, you go ahead and chew your bottle.
All right. Bottle. So that's a challenge this week. It's a lot of fun when you do it. People will think you're taking some medicine or something, especially your kids, because they're like, why do you even care that I did good on my test, or that I just got off the school bus, or that I have a job?
I'm thinking about who do I do that for? Because I have my son who's 18, my wife, Patty, who's my wife's mom who lives here. Do I do that for family members? Would it be weird if I did it at work for Kareth, my coworker? Like when she did something great, applauders. Like I think that's fantastic. Or when you do that, is it sarcastic? Because you know me, people don't know if I'm being sarcastic or if I say the real, something on the air. Kareth knows it's sarcastic, but some people don't realize it's sarcastic, and they'll call in and it's like, I thought that was blatantly sarcastic, and so I got to be careful with that.
I think it's genuinely, because you and me would probably be the same. If I'm jumping up and down and clapping, they would all think I'm just doing something stupid. But if it's just saying, you're great at that, or Zach comes home and say, I think back of you having this job now and whatever it is and how responsible you are, that you wouldn't even go to the game. I'm proud of you. I mean, it's just something that, because on that level, they're like, okay, he was serious. He wasn't, because, half of the things we do is fun and sarcastic.
Well, it is, but let me throw something out at you, because here we are in the year 2017. So I do that, but I don't do it in person. I do it on text. I send text to my wife. I send text to my son, to my friends. I send like positive text and things that sometimes I get teary-eyed when I'm sending the text to them because of the things that I'm saying. But I think now that it's 2017, does that still have the same impact? I'm thinking about when I send a text to Zach or something and I feel myself starting to cry, that when he reads it, is he feeling this emotion or is he not feeling it? So I don't know. Is texting okay to do, or do you think you have to see him in person?
I think texting is great. I think emails, especially depending upon the person, but you never can replace when you're with somebody. And we always say I love you to family all the time. After we had a couple brothers pass away early, you just don't know when somebody's going to be around. But it's a little different when you put your hand on their shoulder, their neck, and you just tell them sincerely. you want to do something that's not, because you are good at that. I love to text, and it's so easy to do it. It's a lot harder to tell somebody face to face or something how much you appreciate them and how great they did, because then because I think part of our uncomfortableness is their uncomfortableness.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
Because,
that does
they're
make sense.
like, and if you're like me, I know you're the same way. I don't like compliments, especially face to face. I want to deflect them real quick and say, no, I'm not very, and let's move on. I don't want any more focus.
Why are we like that? I'm the same way. Why can't we accept compliments? I'm always like deflecting every time. I don't know what's going on with me.
So that's a challenge for a lot of, some of the greatest people I know struggle with that. And so whenever you tell them, oh no, they will never say just thank you. And the best thing to do is just say, hey, thanks. I appreciate that. And that's hard sometimes, because we don't want to, I don't know if we don't want to feel like we deserve it, or if it's just uncomfortable when somebody's looking at us and telling us. Like in a text, it's easy to say, great, I love you too, you're awesome. Yes. But face to face, it's tough. The phone call, it's not so bad. Yeah. But when somebody comes right up to your face and says you are, and you're wanting to look away, you're like, I don't want to look at you. Okay, let's go ahead and get something to eat.
You and I have issues. We have got to figure that thing out. I don't know what. We're both built the same way with that. That's hilarious. Well, that's a great challenge, and I'm going to do it this week. Hopefully, people that are watching or listening to this will also take this challenge. And feel free to email us or comment on our Facebook and let us know things that are positive in your life. We'd like to share those with other people. And so I think that's all I have. Do you have anything else?
Nothing else from me.
All right, we'll see you next time on It's All Good.
It's all good.